Very good morning to all of you to this Jordan Investment Outlook session. We will start with a small video and then we'll proceed. Thank you.
As a land of innovation, stability and youth at the heart of the Middle East, Jordan has many advantages that make it an ideal destination for investors from all around the world.
الأردن فيه جميع العوامل اللي بيحتاجها أي استثمار ناجح عشان يقدر يقدم خدمات.
الأردن موجود بمنطقة استراتيجية ما بين الشرق الأوسط وأفريقيا وبلاد المجاورة للبحر المتوسط.
عن طريق البر بنقدر نصدر لكل الخليج، سوريا والعراق، وإن شاء الله طبعا سوريا فيها إعادة بناء، العراق في إعادة بناء.
The ease of the financial and banking system and especially the stable currency which Jordan offers helps tremendously.
الحمد لله عندنا احتياطيات قوية، عندنا بنك مركزي قوي، السياسة النقدية عندنا مشهود لها.
Jordan has an incredible educational system that produces just exceptional talents.
Being in Jordan gave us an abundance of highly qualified human capital. And that's what enabled us to penetrate the US market in such a strong way.
Jordan is a particularly good area to invest in if you're looking for young tech startups.
The human resources is available, the literacy is available, and the attitude is available, the security is available. So Jordan has every component.
To build on these qualities, Jordan is implementing a 10-year economic modernization vision to accelerate growth by unleashing the country's full economic potential.
أخذنا القطاعات بشكل عام اللي واردة في رؤية التحديث الاقتصادي 16 قطاع وانتقينا منها 8 رح نروج لهم حاليا لأنهم بتمتعوا بالقوة والجاهزية للترويج، بالإضافة أنه في رغبات من الخارج للاستثمار في هاي القطاعات مثل تكنولوجيا المعلومات، السياحة العلاجية، الرعاية الصحية، الألبسة والمحيكات، التعدين والصناعات الكيماوية والزراعة والأغذية وصناعة الأفلام.
These economic priorities are supported by the new Investment Environment Law, which went into effect this year, providing foreign and local investors with a wide variety of benefits and incentives.
في إعفاءات وحوافز أساسية تعطى لأي مستثمر، ولكن في إعفاءات إضافية تعطى بعد قياس الأثر النوعي لمشروعه على الاقتصاد.
Another milestone is invest.jo, which said to be once released a comprehensive online portal that provides all needed information about investment opportunities and how to do business in Jordan, along with insightful information about Jordan as a place to live and thrive.
Jordan is a small country, but it has a lot to offer.
Jordan is a place where there are lots of opportunities for investments, and we see a lot of growth opportunities for the EBRD in the years to come.
عندنا شيء نروج له ونسوقه، الرؤية والقانون الجديد والمزايا. فالكرة في ملعبنا الآن.
أنا على يقين إنه المستثمرين اللي جربوا بالأردن ما أعتقد يوم من الأيام بيتركوا الأردن.
Jordan is the most forward destination when it comes to people, when it comes to the geographical locations, when it comes to the security and the transparency of bureaucracy.
ما يميز الأردن وجود دولة حريصة على التواصل المستمر مع المستثمرين. الأردن جاهزة لاستقبال المستثمرين. Jordan is open for business.
As they say, a picture says more than 1,000 words, and I think this video illustrates that. So again, very much a welcome to the Jordan's Investment Outlook session with the subtitle Advancing Investment and Resilience in a Dynamic Region. My name is Philip ter Woort. I'm the Regional Director of the Eastern Mediterranean, based in Jordan, in Amman. And I'm thrilled that we have this opportunity to present Jordan to the investment community at this annual meeting of the EBRD. Now, many people, of course, associate Jordan with stability, political and economic stability in a region where stability is often in short supply. And indeed, under the guidance of His Royal Highness the King Abdulla II, Jordan has been a haven of stability in spite of the financial crisis, regional conflicts, and COVID. And in a way, Jordan personifies the theme of this AGM, investing in resilience. However, an old adage tells you, if you want things to stay the same, you need to be prepared for change. And I hope that today's session will give you a better idea that behind the curtain of stability, the government of Jordan and its partners like the EBRD are working hard to move the country forward, initiate reforms, and where needed, aim at spurring economic growth, make Jordan greener, more exclusive, to the benefit for all Jordanians. Plus, Jordan doesn't start from scratch. It has been successful in attracting foreign direct investors over the years in renewables, the Aqaba container terminal, and, for instance, the Queen Alia International Airport, just to name a few. So to that effect, I'm joined on stage with 4 esteemed panelists and 1 virtual panelist, also esteemed. His Excellency Kholoud Saqqaf, Minister of Investment, welcome. Thierry Déau, CEO of Meridiam. On screen, we have Hussein Safadi, the CEO from Aqaba Development Corporation, welcome. Abdulla Zayed, Masdar, representing Masdar, and of course our own Heike Harmgart, the Managing Director for the Southern Eastern Mediterranean. So, and off stage, I welcome, of course, our EBRD Board Director representing Jordan, Sarah Fountain-Smith. So a warm welcome to you all. The order of the day is I will start to introduce each panelist and ask them a leading question. And there will be also an opportunity to ask questions from the audience or from Slido. We're using the Slido app, which I hope will be now coming on screen, which gives you the code. There is a QR code in front of your seat, which you can use to ask questions through the app, and that should come in my on my device. So without further ado, let's kick off. Dear Minister, you are an accomplished professional with 25 years of experience in the fields of banking, finance, and financial regulation. You hold a master's degree in economics and have a very variety of roles and responsibilities in your career. Jordan phosphate mining, Arab Bank, a stint in the industry, in the insurance industry, and at the Central Bank of Jordan, where you were the executive manager of the Banking Supervision Department and the deputy governor of the Central Bank of Jordan, first Arab woman to hold that position. You're serving in many boards, including the Central Bank of Jordan, Jordan Mortgage Refinance Companies, Social Security Corporation, and Royal Jordanian Airlines. And currently you're on the board of the World Union of Arab Bankers, in addition to serving as the chairperson of the Arab Women Empowerment Commission. Very busy agenda. And thank you very much for being here. I know it's been not easy to arrive in Samarkand. So as the recently appointed Minister of Investment, please share with us the strategic vision of the government when it comes to attracting investors and also in the context of the economic modernization vision.
Thank you, Philip, and thank you, everybody, for having us in this beautiful city. I'm very pleased and honored to be in this session with these distinguished panelists that we have, and with Hussein also from Amman. And I thank EBRD for letting us this chance, giving us this chance for presenting our case. And this makes it's very tough for us to convince you come and invest in Jordan in 50 minutes. Especially that I arrived at 6 o'clock in the morning after 20 hours of flying. So bear with me if I was a little bit slow or something. As you said, Philip, I was appointed in last October. So this is my 7th month there. But I was lucky because the vision is clear, and I know exactly what has to be done to enhance the investment environment in Jordan. As you know, that Jordan, since the past 2 years, has made a progress on several aspects of reform, political, and we're done with it. And now we're focusing on the economic and administrative reforms. And especially now I'm talking about the economic reforms, which started seriously last year when a modernization, economic modernization vision was drafted for the coming 10 years. With the slogan of a better future. This vision or strategy, it is ambitious and realistic one, which was drafted by more than 300 people, and I was honored in my personal capacity to be part of this team, to put what Jordan needs for the coming 10 years. And the two strategic pillars that we concentrated on was first accelerating the growth of the GDP through utilizing and maximizing the full economic potential that we have. And the second one is to improve the quality of the life of people, of the Jordanian people. For this, the two main outcomes or objectives that we have within the coming 10 years is to find or meet the growing demand on the new jobs. So we have to create or to find in 10 years jobs for 1 million Jordanian, because the unemployment is high nowadays, and this is one of our challenges. And the other one is to double the growth rate. Now we have the growth rate of the GDP around 2.5, so the target in 10 years to be 5.5%, which is another challenge that we have. In order to achieve these objectives, we need to finance the economy. And the economy, the estimated amount that was calculated is around 41 billion JD, which is around 58 billion US dollar. And the estimate for that is 72% would come from the investment, either local or foreign investment. Of course, in order to be able to attract or enhance the investment inside or outside Jordan, we have to enhance the environment, the investment environment. And it started at the end of 2021 when the Ministry of Investment was established. Before that, it was a commission, it was a promotion commission. So the government, out of the importance that it's giving to the investment, it was elevated or transferred into a ministry. So it's a new ministry. It's a 1 and a half year old ministry. And the other thing is that after the vision, there was 8 drivers for the economy, and the main driver was the investment, with around 366 initiatives, 16 initiatives related to the investment. The first initiative was to enhance the legal framework of the investment, and we started in October where we released the new law, the new investment law, which is a modern and very flexible law. We tried within this law to solve most of the problems of the investors, and maybe we can talk more on the law. And then we have several initiatives. We started, the bylaws were issued later on, and now the instruction. So we're done with the legal framework, and now we started to automate all the processes. And so any investor now who comes and wants to do any transaction with the investment ministry, he can do it from here, from Samarkand. You can apply for a new investment, and by law, in 15 days, you should get an approval or rejection. But the law states, in case you did not receive any approval, it is considered approved. So this is, again, another thing. We're also doing a lot of initiative in automating and doing like a platform for investment, Invest.jo, like any other country, to have all the information about investment that any investor can do. Why Jordan, the sectors, the opportunities, and also it's one tool of promotion. We released the promotion strategy maybe 2 weeks ago, and targeting, maybe also we can talk a little bit about the targeted sectors, the targeted countries that we're gonna focus on in order to be able to attract the investment.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for that. I mean, the fact that Jordan established only recently a Ministry of Investment,
yes,
is in a way is also a clear indication of the importance Jordan attaches to getting foreign investors coming to the country. Now, thank you for that introduction.
Thank you.
So we're moving now to the south, and we're also moving virtual. So I'm moving to the south to Aqaba, the beautiful port city of Aqaba, to the Aqaba Development Corporation, which was launched in 2004 to develop new infrastructure, expand utilities, and create business enablers, and managing key facilities in the Aqaba Special Economic Zone. ADC's role in Aqaba is pivotal, as it owns ports, airports, strategic land parcels, and has development and management rights for these assets and utilities. And very relevant for the purpose of this session, ADC aims to optimize private sector participation in the Aqaba development area, to promote economic growth and development in the Special Economic Zone. With many success stories, I mentioned earlier the Aqaba Container Terminal, which is being a successful PPP, which is managed by Maersk, being one of them. Hussein Safadi, who joins us virtual. I'm glad that the IT is working for a change. Welcome to this session. He's the current CEO of ADC. He's being appointed in July 2021, and he brings to ADC a strong private sector experience and understanding, which is key with a solid understanding of investment, tourism, and real estate, through your senior leadership roles at Saraya and Ayala Oasis in Aqaba. You're strongly dedicated to education and your social development, and you serve as the chairman of the Aqaba International School. So in the recent years, I myself, being in Jordan, we've noticed that Aqaba is really on the move, and you are in a way an illustration of that, being a new management which has been come on board. So a new senior management team for both ADC and ACISA, with many new initiatives have been rolled out, coupled with a strong political support through His Royal Highness the Crown Prince of Jordan. And in this context, can you please outline the change in direction and focus, both adopted by ACISA and ADC, and shed some light on some of the key initiatives which are being rolled out in Aqaba at this moment? Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much, Philip, and good morning, Your Excellencies. And I'm glad to be here, and I'm sorry that I didn't been able to attend physically due to some circumstances.
We missed you last night at the airport.
You were missed last night at the airport.
Yeah, exactly. This is the only excuse.
At 6 in the morning.
Actually, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Thank you very much. Actually, yes, I joined the ADC. Actually, Her Excellency mentioning that the private sectors, and we should act on behalf of the private sectors. And I'm coming through the private sector to attend this ADC company. It's the investment arm for Aqaba Economic Zone that we are responsible to convert all the opportunities into actual success stories. Aqaba is undergoing transformation, become a world-class destination for business, investments, and tourism. Aqaba Development Master Plan outlined the sustainable development of the city over the next few decades, focusing on 6 sectors: tourism, manufacturing, logistics, green growth, creative industries, and vocational developments. The Aqaba port communities has undergone significant expansion and modernization, becoming one of the most advanced in the region. As Philip, you mentioned, the PPP, our corporation and partnership with the ACT, the APM Terminal Maersk, that we are now discussing another chapter of investment for the next generation for another 15 years. And we are developing the port to be ready for the future green growth requirements and decarbonization, and that was part of our initiatives recently. In addition to that, we are focusing with our partners to position Aqaba as a vocational hub, logistic hub, especially the location of Aqaba between the 4 countries, between Asia and Africa, and we have to play that role to be as a major hub.
Thank you. Thank you for that. And also my own observations traveling on a regular basis to Aqaba, because you are a special economic zone. You have a particular jurisdiction. The lines of communication are very short. So investors find an easy way to find their way in Aqaba. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Philip.
So now we're moving to the investors. Thierry, as the founder of Meridiam, you personify entrepreneurship, which is also at the heart, of course, of the EBRD. And your professional life story, of course, is exciting and is very impressive, and I'm using an understatement here. You're an engineer by education, and prior to founding Meridiam, you worked for France Caisse de dépôt de conciliation, where you held several positions with its engineering and development subsidiary Aegis Projects, ending up as a CEO in 2001. With the backing of Crédit Agricole and Ecom Technology, you established in 2005 Meridiam, which currently has 20 billion in assets and with more than 120 projects under development, construction, and in operation. You have 11 offices in Paris, New York, Dakar, and Amman, and you have received numerous awards for your sustainable investing practices, and you're widely recognized as a leader in the infrastructure investment industry. You have many board positions, including positions you helped establish yourself, like the Sustainable Development Infrastructure Investment Partnership at the World Economic Forum. Plus, admirably, you're the president of the Archery Foundation, which supports talents from underprivileged areas in France in their personal and professional development. Now, you are, of course, in Jordan, one of the leading global investors dedicated to the country, to an investment office in Amman. You're currently managing the Queen Alia International Airport. You're bidding for 2 PPPs, school PPPs, and the National Desalination and Water Conveyance Project. Can you please share us some of the experiences in Jordan, and how do you see the future of Meridiam going forward?
I must say that the investment environment in Jordan for us has always been a positive one, and that's why we came quite a few years ago and made the commitment to Jordan as a country of investment, and for several reasons. I think the vision that the king has been provided to the country in terms of its economic development is a reassuring one and a stable one. And I think that's very important for investors like us to have a clear direction from countries in terms of what they want to invest in and what they want to achieve. And the second is because we are focused on sustainable development, we focus on the needs of the people. And the strategy of Jordan is very much linked to, it's emerging from the immediate needs of the people, and there are many, given Jordan's situations, having adopted many people, even those that they didn't have originally, have increasing needs in terms of social needs, in terms of access to sort of simple utilities and social services. And that goes from schools, that goes from water, that goes from a number of transportation, and all that in a sustainable way, because there's a real sort of decarbonization strategy behind it. And that's really why we feel that this is an environment where we can thrive, we can support that development. I think like many countries, and we've really been supportive on that, what is always difficult is execution and implementation. Because I wish today I could be bidding for 20 projects, not 2.
No pressure.
Yeah.
Well, it's coming.
Because the pressure comes from the people, not from me, because in a way I'm committed to Jordan, but I can also invest in all of the places. So it's very important, given the sort of global atmosphere. I mean, we're dealing with high social pressure. We're dealing with climate change. Jordan is in a place where, you know, water is not in excess, to be very subtle about it. And other places, energy, I mean, obviously renewable energy, Jordan is well placed for that. But all that are sort of acute needs that are increasing from the people, so we have the pressure. So my sort of aspiration for Jordan, because and we're there forever, so as you mentioned, or perhaps not, we have 25 to 40-year investment funds, so we're not leaving soon, since since we're already there. But we like to do more, and like to really push for this execution moment, because I think the needs are huge. I think the strategy is very clear. Now it's just about doing it, and just not think about anything else, but doing it. And I think there's quite a lot of help from, I mean, partners like EBRD in the support that they can provide in terms of project preparation. Let's do the things right, let's do the things fast. Because it's, as much as we are committed, we find it sometimes difficult to keep our sort of technical construction operation partners focused, because processes can be a bit too long. People lose patience and they say, why should I invest there for development and bidding if I can do it faster somewhere else? So we're keeping the message that, you know, Jordan is the place to be, but we need, you know, all the DFIs, but EBRD to also support the government in this acceleration of execution.
Thank you for that. And you also, I think, you personify Meridiam, and others as well, is that investor relationships is not a flirt, it's a long-term relationship. And why I'm saying that, as an investor of the Queen Alia International Airport, which was, of course, badly hit during COVID, there had been a lot of negotiation with the government, you know, to renegotiate the terms of the contract. And these things are very much important, and sticking to be there and negotiate and being there for the long haul. So it's not a flirt, but it's a long-term relationship on either side. Now moving then to Masdar. Abdulla, welcome. You're an engineer by background, head of development and investment Central Asia and Russia, and general manager of MW Energy, which is Masdar's subsidiary specialized on renewable energies. You have over 15 years of experience. Now Masdar, of course, or the Abu Dhabi Future Energy Company, is by now a global leader in renewable energy and sustainable technology, with an impressive track record across many jurisdictions since its establishment in 2006. Masdar, by the way, means source in Arabic. Abdulla, you're responsible for directing and defining MW Energy and Masdar's strategy and focus markets. You're currently managing a pipeline of projects of more than 15 gigawatts in 20 plus countries. So you're a very busy man, so thank you for being with us. So just referred to, Masdar has been a catalyst of renewable energy development in the Arab world in particular over the past decade, with a combined global portfolio of 20 gigawatts of clean energy capacity in over 40 countries. In Jordan, you have invested in the largest PV solar plant and wind farm developed in the country to date, with a total capacity of 300 megawatts, and gained substantial experience as a major investor. Can you maybe elaborate on that experience in Jordan, and being an investor in particular in the renewable space, which, as we all know, has been in the past successes, and for the future that will be extremely important for Jordan to further develop.
Thank you, Philip, for the generous introduction, I would say, for me personally. But for Masdar, I think there is a lot more maybe to talk about. I'll touch a little bit on. First of all, I think it's a pleasure to be in this panel with Your Excellency and then with the esteemed panelists here. And also it's a pleasure, you know, to be in Samarkand, beautiful Samarkand, to be honest. And for EBRD, of course, for organizing this event. And for all the online viewers, I guess, right? So it's truly an international event that we're sitting in. As Masdar, as you mentioned, I think, Philip, we are a renewable energy company, developer by nature. We've been established back in 2006 and have activities across 20 countries now, with the gross capacity of around 20 gigawatt of installed capacity. From the 40 countries that we are active on, Jordan is on the top of that list in our focus. We've been in Jordan since 2013. We've started with them the journey of developing a renewable energy sector in the country by doing the first of its kind projects, the Tafila wind project. It's a 117 megawatt wind project that was operational back in 2015. But the journey started, a few years before that, because when we started, the regulations, the legislation, the mindset was not there. But the good thing that we noticed from the beginning is that the government had the vision and had the mandate, a clear mandate to develop this sector, right? to invest in sustainable energy and to incentivize the investors to come in Jordan and develop these sectors together with the government. The development of renewable energy projects cannot be done alone by the investor, cannot be done alone by the government. It's a collaboration. Right? It needs to be done by all the relevant stakeholders. And from day one, we've seen the support from all the relevant government stakeholders. That includes the Ministry of Energy as our focal point, and then the Ministry of Investments, obviously, in terms of the legislation and regulation towards the investors, the Ministry of Finance, NEPCO, the utility companies, and all the parties that involved in the development of the projects in Jordan. So following our success in Tafila 2015, we've started developing other projects. We've managed to develop and complete 200 megawatt solar plant called Baynuna, and we've completed and started operation back in 2020. So in total, we have around close to 500 megawatt of installed capacity in Jordan, with an investment value of close to $500 million for both projects. Later on, as Masdar, we have a very ambitious target, right? And I think we've been rephrased our strategy and our targets for 2030, and now we are targeting 100 gigawatt of renewable energy until 2030. Very ambitious target, right? And now we have 20, and then we need to find another 80 in a short term, right? So that means we need to accelerate our growth. We need to do more. We need to do as much as possible, not leave any opportunity untapped. Right? That's the mindset that we're going to. And Jordan is one of the countries that we have identified. That's the countries that will contribute to this target that we have as Masdar. We've signed recently with them a 2 gigawatt memorandum of understanding to pave a way to collaborate with the Ministry of Energy, with the government of Jordan, to do and develop an implementation plan on how we can do this 2 gigawatt of renewable energy projects, whether it was solar and wind, to do the necessary investments and studies together with the government again to identify what will be the challenges that we will face along the way to deliver this pipeline. And I think within the next few months, we will hear maybe a little bit more details about the implementation plan and our intention together with the government and how we plan to deliver this, which is something is being now discussed, something is being now detailed. But the collaboration, I would say, relationship with the Jordanian government, represented by all the stakeholders, is very positive. Right? They're very keen. And this is, I think, driven by a clear mandate, right, from the top of the government that this needs to be done. They have a very clear targets until 2050, which is encouraging for us as an investor because we know that the targets are there. The government will do the necessary actions to meet these targets. And we, as an investor, we know Jordan. We've been there before. We like the country. We want to do more. We have our own targets also that drives us to do more. And we hope we can do a lot more with the Jordanians.
Thank you. No, thank you for that. I think the renewable space is a good example where if the government has a vision, it can be very successful. 12, 13 years ago, there was hardly any renewable capacity in Jordan, and within 12, 13 years, we talk about 27% of the capacity, electricity capacity is being generated by renewables. So it's very, very impressive. And I'm also happy to add to that EBRD actually has been quite instrumental in developing the legal and the regulatory environment to support renewable development. So we're now moving to Heike Harmgart, the Managing Director of Southern Eastern Mediterranean. You're a German national. You have a PhD in economics from the University College in London. You joined EBRD in 2006. And you worked for the Economics Intelligence Unit and the Institute for Fiscal Studies in London. You're responsible for the Southern Eastern Mediterranean region, which includes Egypt, Jordan, Morocco, Tunisia, Lebanon, West Bank and Gaza, and you manage a team of 150, and you have a business volume of over 2 billion. Forbes Middle East has recognized you as one of the 100 most powerful women in the Middle East. So well done on that one. Now, you have been an MD now for a number of years, and obviously you've been living in Jordan for about 150 years. Sometimes it feels everyone knows you. So from a sort of a comparative perspective, I mean, how do you look at Jordan as an investment destination, from the outside in?
No, thank you, Philip, and thank you. It's really great to be here. It's great to be in this exciting panel. It's always difficult to choose between your children. I think that's what you're asking me. So but I want to highlight a few things that I really think set Jordan apart, and I think that's also first and foremost. Of course, we've talked already about the clear vision, the leadership, but I think what is very special is also the recognition it has to be done with the private sector. So there is no doubt about that the private sector has to play a key role. I mean, the ambition in terms of who is supposed to generate GDP, it's supposed to be the private sector, it's supposed to be foreign investors together with domestic investors. So I think that is something that has never been in doubt, that the private sector really needs to lead the growth. And then the second part, I feel, is also Jordan is a country that is very, really wants to innovate. So it sees it's also, it's not the largest market in the region, so it needs to be more innovative maybe than the large neighbor. It needs to be trying out things first. And I think for me, that was also a story of EBRD in the country, that a few things, it's really the first time we did them ever. So, I mean, we did, also on the regulatory side, on the renewable, moving from feed-in tariff to supporting an auction format, private to private, to supporting a corporate governance plan for a state-owned entity, but also to have a sector skills council to training young people in Jordan on the tourism sector. So I feel it's really a country that is not afraid to try new things. It's not afraid to try out innovative solutions. And so I think this partnered with that, there's a deep understanding that the private sector is really the name of the game, and without the private sector, the country is not going to move forward. I think that, coupled with the leadership and the stability, I think is a unique combination. And I think that is also attracting investors, that is attracting DFIs to try out new things, to convince our risk people that this is a good project we should do. And I think this is really something that makes a small country in a very challenging environment still leading the way on certain investment propositions. I think this is also the first time EBRD is investing in the preparation of a social PPP in the education sector. We've never done that, but we feel confident that with the history of Jordan and PPPs, but also the way the government listens and to advice from investors, to advice from DFIs, I think that's something we should be doing together. So I think that's sort of something that really sets Jordan apart as a destination, the understanding and the need to innovate.
Thank you. Thank you for that. So going back to you, Minister, I think one of the things which really excites investors looking at Jordan is the PPPs.
Yes.
And I know the government has a dedicated PPP unit. It falls under your jurisdiction at the moment. Maybe you can elaborate a little bit for this audience here and online on what the plans are to roll that out, and also maybe attach it a little bit. That's a slightly separate issue, but I think it's key to Jordan as well, and its strategic positioning as an investment destination, the knowledge economy,
yes,
which is going to be very important going forward.
Yes. Yes, the PPP unit, you know, as we're saying, Jordan is considered within the emerging markets, and there's a lot of infrastructure projects that needs to be completed in terms of water, transportation, education, and energy, and given the budget deficit that we have, the government is not able to do it alone because it's considered mega project, and we don't have the know-how as well. So it's the perfect idea is to a partnership with the private sector. But again, the private sector, in order to come in, he needs some assurance, some commitments from the government in order to be able to do it. And this is what is happening since 2020, where the new law was released, and a unit was established at the Prime Ministry. It was a very small section at the Ministry of Finance, but it was given the importance, and it was given the independency so that they can be more independent and can go into many other, or the pipeline would have much more projects. And then it was transferred by the new law to the Ministry of Investment. And to be honest, we assessed in why, as Mr. Thierry was saying, we have a lot of good investors that wants to come in, but we don't have a project in the pipeline. They're showing interest in Jordan, but we need to do, it's a long process because it needs a feasibility study, it needs the law. Now we're amending the law. We're amending the law to give more flexibility to the unit, and it's supposed to be within the coming 2 months. This is one part. We're building the capacity within the unit, and we have two projects that worth mentioning with desalination water, and this has been going on. The RFP was called in 2021, and it's a $3 billion project, and we're waiting in July to receive the final bids or final calls. For the schooling also, we're doing a pilot project for 14 schools to be as built, operate, and managed by the private sector, not for the public sector, and this is also going on. We have 7 as well projects coming in the pipeline, like the bus rail, the gas distribution, toll road, and we have so many projects coming up. So, and what we're doing, and why we're amending the law, in order to see like 20 or 30 other projects, so that we can have Meridiam and Masdar be a partner with us in so many other projects.
To fulfill the wish to have these 20 projects.
Yes, exactly. He mentioned that, and we have to cater for his.
Absolutely. No, definitely. And the bank, of course, EBRD stands ready also to support you through our PPP advisory team.
Of course.
So now we're moving to the south again, to Aqaba. Hussein, why Aqaba and why now? What are the 3 to 4 biggest investment opportunities, priorities you have at the moment? And can you please highlight some of the incentives you would be able to offer investors in Aqaba? You're muted.
I'm sorry for that. Thank you, Philip. Actually, investing in Aqaba offers a unique opportunity for growth-oriented investors. And Aqaba's strategic location, as I mentioned, at the crossroads of 4 countries, make it a natural hub for regional trade and investment, for major logistics, transportation, expansion. The city is also business-friendly, offering tax holidays, customs exemptions, and streamlined digital procedures for investors. Aqaba has a highly skilled workforce and a range of infrastructure development projects and government support, creating a strong investment climate. Key sector for investment, including tourism and hospitality, real estate and construction, logistics and transportation, agri-tech, creative industries, and filming, as well as Her Excellency mentioned, education and the vocational training. For the first pitch, now in the first phase of the investment opportunities that we have, we are offering a wide range of investment opportunities, especially in the filming studios, because we are part of the Golden Triangle, Petra, Wadi Ram, and Aqaba, and we recently had a lot of international films that most of the operators came to Aqaba, to this district between the Golden Triangle, to do that issues. We're going to invest as Aqaba Development Corporation in the land infrastructure, and we'll do all the needed permissions and licenses, and we are offering now the operation of the filming studios. In addition to that, we are now under process, under constructions of the International Exhibition Center. It's going to be one of the largest in the region, because we succeeded last year to organize one of the major international exhibitions called SOFIX, and this exhibition center in Aqaba will attract people, and we can play the role of tourism, exhibition tourism, and conference tourism. And this opportunity is there. We'll invest around $20 million US in the infrastructure and building the exhibition, and we are seeking for investors to operate. In addition to that, we have other logistics and transportation opportunities. We are now in process to develop the oil terminal, new oil terminal and gas terminal, and all the infrastructure will be covered by ADC, and will open the door for investment opportunities for operators to come on board and do the operations. And by the way, ADC now, we are in final stages to prepare a investment kit that includes feasibility studies and ROI, and we go to the investors to offer real numbers and reasonable numbers and return of investment, and to play the role on behalf of the private sector to do all the needed issues with the infrastructure and licenses and any other procedures. And we are acting on behalf of the investor with other entities and stakeholders in the Ministry of Investment, the Ministry of Water, the Ministry of Energy, and any needed issues from the government. We play the coordination role to support and facilitate the issues for the investors. And we recently created a unit within the body of ADC that called Investment Acceleration Unit. The team is new blood team, well educated, exposed, and they are responsible to follow up and accelerate the business and do all the needed issues to present Aqaba and to present our business opportunities in front of the investors.
Thank you. Thank you. There are indeed a lot of opportunities, and also you haven't mentioned it, but Aqaba is a very pleasant city to be in any case. So to negotiate sitting on the beach is probably one of the things which also attracts some people, I would say.
Yeah.
Now moving to Meridiam again. Now, if you look at Jordan, I mean, you invest across many areas and sectors. So where do you see in Jordan sort of the biggest opportunities in the years to go from a sector perspective? And then maybe as a sort of a sub-question, if investors come to Jordan, what kind of advice would you give them?
I think we've mentioned the water and the schools being sort of a first pilot, but I mean, given the number of kids that you have to cater for in Jordan, I suppose there will be more. And so this has to be a success in terms of delivery, so the government can be comfortable that those type of partnerships can work for schools. And it takes, especially when you're in the education system, a lot of involvement from the stakeholders, the users, the teachers. I mean, we have a sort of 10-year experience on schools in the city of Espoo in Finland and with the region of Wales in the UK. It takes a while to build up the ecosystem that makes this partnership successful on the long term, and I hope then the new opportunities will be to grow that. I also see a lot of almost low-hanging fruit in decarbonizing transportation. Jordan is a place that needs mass transport in a big way. and new mass transport. And I think thinking of heavy rail transportation would be a bit sort of over the top. But electrifying buses, having high capacity buses, these are low-hanging fruit that I think can be deployed in the fastest way. And I mean, there's been discussion in the past. It does need a little bit of reorganization of the whole sector because there's a lot of entrepreneurs within the transportation system. But clearly, I see low-hanging super opportunity there in the transportation sector to decarbonize. And of course, I think there'll be continuing opportunities in the energy sector. As I mean, this is early stage, but I think my friend here, I'm sure if you tell him tomorrow that we have to do green hydrogen in Jordan, he'll jump on the idea. But so moving to the new technology of green energy, given where Jordan is very well placed, I think is also. So these are a few, but these also are the ones that I think can be quickly delivered and also invested in.
Thank you.
If I may
Absolutely.
add here about what Mr. Thierry added, and also according to our promotion strategy, the sectors that we're also focusing, in addition to the energy and transportation, we're focusing on the ICT, tourism, medical tourism, logistics, textiles, mining, and also the life sciences and the film making industries. So these are opportunities that also we think that they're ready to be, the sectors are ready to be promoted, and they're able to attract more investment. So I didn't mention FA. Thank you.
The more films about Mars, the better it would be for Jordan.
We did very good last year, by the way, in film industry. We did good investment. We're there. Yes, thank you.
To quickly finish, I think my advice to investors would... No, it's okay. No, it's okay. I mean, it was good because it's a good fit.
I remembered that I didn't mention the sectors.
No, I mean, tourism, you mentioned earlier our discussions on Queen Alia.
Yes.
I think what really supported these negotiations and the fact that we're confident that we'll get there because, years before I had visited His Majesty the King, and I understand clearly what his vision of tourism was and how Queen Alia could be an instrument in being the most competitive airport in the region. So therefore, I had a lot of confidence in terms of where we could get in terms of going through the difficult period of COVID. But investors need to actually focus on those things that are priority strategies for the country. And of course, be patient and be helpful. I mean, it's not always easy to be, people want sort of investable, ready to invest project. This is not how it works. It doesn't work like that anywhere in the world, actually. But some places are better than others. But it's also participating in supporting the government in terms of how the delivery can be more efficient. I think that's very important.
Thank you very much. And electrifying the transport sector is indeed indirectly also useful to sort of get rid of the excess capacity in the electricity sector. And then moving to Masdar, Abdulla, I mean, you signed an MOU with the government to develop a lot of renewable capacity. Can you maybe elaborate a little bit on that? And maybe also a little bit in consideration of the time constraints we have. Keep it slightly short if you can.
No, sure. I'll be short because I've already talked a little bit about it. And we just want to say we are more happy to collaborate on electrifying the transport sector. But when it comes to our agreement with the Ministry of Energy that we've signed last year, as I've said before, we've signed for a 2 gigawatt plan, which fits perfectly with our ambitions as Masdar, and also fits perfectly with the ambitions of the Jordanian government to achieve 50% generation capacity from renewable sources by 2050. I think now they are close to 30%, at 29%, if I'm not mistaken. This definitely will boost that percentage and get them closer to the target that they're trying to achieve. Of course, the main challenge that we're facing in Jordan when it comes to implementing this 2 gigawatt is a technical challenge, not an investment challenge, not an environment challenge, not a government challenge. It's more on the technical side. Because as you're aware, reaching a 30% penetration of the grid from renewable energy sources creates intermediacy issues with the grid, right? It's make it a little bit unstable. You need to think of ways on how to control that instability by introducing maybe battery storage solutions, maybe by doing small-scale distribution around, Jordan, maybe by doing more investments in the baseload generation capacities. So it's a bit dangerous to go now with very big capacities in Jordan. The government needs to think about ways on carefully thinking how to proceed to achieve the 50% target. And again, it's mostly a technical challenge, right? It's not about the investment regime. It's not about the investment structure. We're more than happy there, and we want to do more, and that's why we've signed this agreement. That we want to unblock these challenges together with the government and try to do it as soon as we can.
Thank you. The infamous grid stability,
Exactly.
and something we're working on as well, to sort of evacuate the overcapacity to other countries in the region, be it Iraq or maybe be it Palestine. Heike, maybe a few words about the role of the bank going forward in support of Jordan's ambitious plans.
I mean, given that I think we are already over time, I just want to say I think what I take out of this is really accelerate the green transition in Jordan. I think, I would just say for all of the private sector investing, what you heard, they want to invest more in the green transition. We as a bank want to invest more in the green transition. There's a lot of opportunities in Jordan. We see the government committed to accelerating the green transition. We heard the term that all of the parts need to be accelerated and scaled, that it shouldn't be like 2, but 20 PPPs Meridiam could bid for. We're talking about accelerating the gigawatts for Masdar. So it's really about accelerating the green transition, and that will create lots of investment opportunities in Jordan. Maybe that's sort of my summary.
Thank you. Then, Minister, then I give you the last word. What is your message to potential investors and investors in the country?
My message is that if you are a multinational corporate or a small startup, Jordan has something to offer. Jordan has a established or well-developed infrastructure, and there is the thriving ecosystem for accessing the market. There is the talented labor and the strong banking system, the commitment of the government, and the new law that is offering equality between the fairness between the foreign investor and the local investor. And there are a lot of things that can be tools and resources that can succeed, make your project or your activity succeed in Jordan. Jordan is open for business. This is my slogan.
Thank you very much. On that happy note, I end this session, and I want to thank the audience for attending. I want to thank, and a big applause to the panelists for sharing with us. And I wish you all a successful continuation of this annual meeting, and thank you again for joining. And in any case, by the way, having lived in the country for 3.5 years, even if you're not an investor, come to the country. It's one of the most beautiful countries on this planet, so please do so. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. I just remembered.